Hey there everyone, let's take a look at the Goliath monster from Evolve. How best to use him, how best to build him, and how to be as effective as possible with him. Let's get started. So, Goliath is the first of two unlockable monsters in the Evolve Alpha. Goliath is very ground-based, very quick on his feet, based around jumping mobility to get around, and just trying to get up close into people's faces in order to deal with them. The other monster is the Kraken. We'll talk about that in another video later on, probably in the next couple of days. But for right now, we're just going to focus on the Goliath. So let's get started. How do I build Goliath at levels 1, 2, and 3? At level 1, I'm going to start with putting 2 points into Rush and 1 into a Flamethrower. In this video, you're going to see me using the jump attack ability, but I'm going to actually recommend you use the Flamethrower instead. So Rush is good for exactly what you just saw right there in the video, is there's a big group of wildlife, and I'm able to crush all of it with 1 quick attack. I did miss 1, and I did finish him off, but the point remains. 4 out of 5 of those guys I killed immediately with that Rush, and I'm able to eat all of them. And you can see just how quickly my evolve meter is actually filling up. I am using the faster eating perk in this video. I only had the 15% version here. I'm currently up to the 30% one, and I assume that the very last tier of the perk will get me to 45%, if that's even available in the alpha. But I kind of like that perk the best, just because it's going to allow me to be very aggressive and very greedy with my eating habits. I can like start sniffing around by using my right click and sniffing, and you can see like enemy humans that are nearby, as well as all the wildlife. So I can see them, and I can still start eating all of the wildlife and be very aggressive in what I'm actually choosing to chomp down on to level up even quicker. And I can feel much more safe in doing so. This guy, I tried to get a sneak attack on. For whatever reason, didn't pin him. I hit him, but didn't pin him down. So we're just going to actually try and keep running away from them. Just got a couple of hits just to try and get them to slow down and engage me, and then we're just going to keep jumping and jumping away. Because we can see, we're really close to actually getting all the way through our evolve. They actually missed that trap on me, thankfully. So we're going to run away and just try and keep our evolve going. I see a buff animal there, so I'm going to go ahead and kill it and try and eat it really quick. Thanks to my fast eating perk, I feel much safer doing that. And now we're finally ready to evolve. So at level 2 for the evolve, what I usually like to go for is I like to max out Rush and then max out Flamethrower. In this video, I'm not entirely sure what you're going to see me actually go for, but I'm going to talk about why I choose the Flamethrower and the Rush first. So basically, Rush is able to hit like 4 or 5 times, and it deals pretty good damage each time, as well as knocking enemies back very, very powerfully with the last couple of hits on it. So what I like to do is try to divide and conquer enemy teams. So I try to, pick whichever target I find is the most valuable at the time. And I don't know why my evolve keeps getting canceled here. It feels like a bug in the game. I'm not entirely sure. But I like to use that Rush to force the teams to separate, and I grab one guy who I want to kill, and I can push him really, really, really far away from the rest of the fight. And you might be thinking, okay, well, you push him really far away. Don't you want to continue your assault with the jump attack? Well, yeah, I do want to continue assaulting that person and try to take them down, or at least heavily damage them if possible. But the thing is, there's not a whole lot of reason for me to slam dunk them when I could just use my regular mobility jump and flamethrower in midair, because you can combine both of those actions. Like, you can jump and flamethrower at the same time. So I can still keep that forward momentum and keep attacking that person while damaging them, but just use the flamethrower instead of the slam dunk. I don't need the slam dunk at this point. I'm only at level 2. I'm not going to be trying to straight up kill their entire team. I want to play the long game. I want to play for level 3 if I can. If I can get away from the trapper long enough. So slam dunk is not really necessary. I'm not going to pick that until level 3. At level 3, we're going to just put all 3 points into our slam dunk ability, so that way once we down somebody, we can camp their body. We're not going to move from their body unless we really have to. We're just going to sit there, and we're going to not let Daisy revive them. We're not going to let anyone else revive them. However, you can't just sit there and do nothing, because then the humans have free reign over you and can do whatever they want. So basically what I usually like to do is I down somebody, and I will make that person's corpse kind of like my home base. I won't sit directly on top of it, but I will stay very, very near it. I will venture out to try and engage somebody else, and usually when I do that, it's not to go for a kill or even really for damage. It's to try and trick somebody else into thinking it's safe to revive. So once they go, I see them go for that revive, all I have to do is turn around and just hit my slam dunk on that corpse, and 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 I knock everyone away, and I deal the biggest damage I can possibly deal with one attack with the Goliath. The Slam Dunk is his most powerful ability from what I've heard, so we're just going to go with that. It deals a whole lot of damage to them, it knocks them away, and it pretty much prevents them from being able to revive that person while you get free damage on their team. Luckily for me, as you see in the video here, they've missed like a second dome on me this game. They've pretty much given the game up at this point. They just can't freaking kill me. So anyways, guys, I think that's pretty much like my build for the Goliath. So I guess at this point we can talk about my other kind of generalized tactics, not necessarily related to leveling up. Oh, by the way, quick note before I forget, I didn't talk about Rock Throw at all. Rock Throw is, in my opinion, only really useful if you think that you can become very skilled with it, and you can skill shot people out of the air. So as they're using their jump jets or jump kits or jetpacks, whatever you want to call it, as they're flying through the air, you're very hard pressed to do damage to them unless you're doing a jump flamethrower. So if you feel really confident in your abilities with rocks, you can snipe them out of the air with rocks. And that could be kind of your main usage of that skill. But that's kind of the only usage that I could think of for it. And what I would probably do is I might drop a point out of either Rush or Flamethrower in order to put one into Rock. I wouldn't put any more than one into Rock. So there's kind of that whole concept as well. Anyways, getting back to some other kind of more miscellaneous tips, I think the best way to go about this is just to kind of rapid fire a few of my techniques that I do like to go with. So I like to try and use the Trapper's Dome Shield against them whenever possible. So whenever they try and trap me in a dome, my main goal is I want to grab somebody from their team and stick them against the wall of the dome and just kind of wall trap them and force them to eat all kinds of damage from me. By doing that, I'm forcing their entire team to come closer to me to close the gap between myself and them. And that's exactly where I want them to be as a Goliath. So by forcing them to get closer to me, I'm able to more effectively deal damage to the entire team as a whole with Slam Dunk or with my Rush ability or Flamethrower. They're all very great CC, crowd control abilities, so it just kind of seems like a no-brainer to me. Try and stick them into walls or the Dome Shield. Whatever is available to you at the time. Oftentimes, speed will trounce stealth. This monster is able to traverse the map very, very quickly. Your jump arc is actually dictated by where you place your mouse when you jump. So if you aim really low, like you saw just there, you make a really short jump. But if you aim really high, you make a huge, monstrous leap. So, you can control your mobility that way as well. It's a really, really great tactic. Quick tip number 3, I guess, is to never stop sniffing. Always keep mashing that right mouse button. Always keep sniffing because it gives you all the information that you could ever need. It shows you where enemy humans are. It shows you where all the wildlife is at all times. Just keep mashing your sniff so you have all the information provided to you and you can make your moves count, because where you're choosing to engage is extremely important. You don't want to engage in a very, very bad situation. One thing I found is if you can engage people near waterfalls, for whatever reason, like on any map, that seems to be like a really good spot to engage as the Goliath, because generally they have a lot of really high walls that they can't scale and get high ground on you, and they have to kind of fall into the ringer to deal with you. So great kind of spot, I think. In terms of like target acquisition and actually picking which enemy to fight first, that's a much more difficult topic and one that I will probably do an entire full video on just to kind of go over. So I'm just going to give you like what the basic roles of every human is in the fight, and you can kind of decide for yourself who you think is most important to kill. So the support has a shield ability, which basically it's kind of like a medigun from Team Fortress, except it shields their friendlies from taking any damage. I'm not sure if it's from taking any damage at all or just like it just gives a big reduction in damage, but regardless, it's very, very powerful, and I think the support is very important to kill. The medic is able to tranquilize you as well as use their own kind of medigun equivalent to heal their teammates, so they can keep their team alive while you're trying to assault them. So again, very important to get that person down. Assault does really, really heavy damage to you. I mean, they are by far the main DPS source on the enemy team, so they're a very important target. I think that they have one ability that just kind of pops like their own personal shield. So basically what I like to do is I like to kind of assault that person, get them to pop their shield, and then leave them alone, because there's nothing else I can do with them while that shield is up, and I can just go attack something else. Finally, you have the Trapper, who can harpoon you into place, but I mean, frankly, unless they're using those very tactically and very effectively, like, they see you running after the medic and they put a bunch of harpoons behind you to stop you, I mean, I've had that happen to me a couple of times where there's a really good Trapper doing stuff like that, but unless you're playing a really high-skilled Trapper, they are not a concern whatsoever. Like, once they get that dome shield up, I mean, that's pretty much their entire purpose in life, and their SMG does very little damage. So I think that unless you have a really high-skilled Trapper, they're probably your absolute lowest priority, unless you need to get out of that dome shield first thing, and you're low on health, you're in a bad engagement, you need out, then the Trapper should probably be your main target. But again, you're going to have to deal with the medic and the support both shielding and healing that person, so it might be impossible to actually kill them. So again, I think it's probably most important that you kill that support and healer first, but this is going to be a topic I'll go through in much more detail in another video, so stick around and stay tuned for that, guys. Anyways, guys, that's about all I got for you this time. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something new. Definitely going to see more Evolve videos from me in the future, so stick around for that. Please like and subscribe if you feel so inclined, and we'll see you next time. Take care.